special scripture class, and amongst us is Swami Tadananda Maharaj from Fiji. So he has come to North America and has been traveling there in many centers. He visited Los Angeles and on the West Coast and New York and here Boston, Providence in the East Coast, and we are having him here today. He came just now, like not even 1 hour, and he's ready to give the talk. He wanted to present on some writing here and that will come, but we couldn't make it. Speaking here and machine there, it didn't work. So we'll try that if we can do something on Sunday. Sunday also Swami is giving a talk on Yoga Vedanta teachings on mental wellness. And Fiji Center, he will also talk on Sunday about his center, his projects. There's a huge center like Indian Center, Fiji in the Pacific Island. And it has one higher secondary school, one polytechnic, one medical center. So it's a huge work there. And Swami is in charge of that center. And we welcome Swami Tadananda Maharaj. He was in India, he was with the students. He was running the school in Deoghar, or one of the oldest schools which are blessed by Swami Tadananda. He was running the school as vice principal there. And we used to meet. I was in Asansol, he was in Deoghar, so we used to meet quite often and used to go there. So we know each other for a long time, and I'm really very happy that we could get him here. So now I won't take much time and let Swami Tadananda be with you on Vivekachudamani. Thank you.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Revered Swami Kripayanji Maharaj, my pranams, and dear devotees and friends. I am very happy to be here in your midst, and at the request of Maharaj, I have agreed to take this evening's class. I know you have been studying the Vivekachudamani. I will speak not directly on the verses that's being conducted, but in the idea of Viveka or Vedanta in general, Jnana. So we just chanted this mantra, Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Spiritual life is for people who are not happy, unhappy people. Unhappy in the sense, they are not happy with the current state of their life. They understand that they are in ignorance, that this life is full of change and eventually everything ends with death. That there is ignorance, there is misery, and they are trying to get out of it. So if one is very happy in this world, then you will not be seeking for something, because you are trying to say Asato Ma Sadgamaya, praying to the Lord to take me from this changing world to something which is unchanging. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, this is a world of spiritual ignorance. I would like to go to a place which is full of the light of knowledge. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, this world is full of change, and whatever is a combination will eventually go under decomposition, which is death. I would like to reach a stage which does not change. So if one is happy with this world, then one will not aspire for something beyond. So divine discontent. Unhappy with this world, only then we will try to. And how desperately you are seeking for something, what is the spirit of Vairagya? How do you cultivate that Vairagya? Because the world is so much with us that even though we hear now and then from the teachings of saints and sages that there is something beyond this world which is infinitely superior, which is of the nature of infinite existence, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, infinite purity, beauty, strength, and all those wonderful things that Sri Ramakrishna is trying to repeatedly demonstrate by going into Samadhi and you can see he is totally cut off from this world. In there he experiences this divine bliss, and he comes down and he reports which are the teachings. But even then, we find that hankering for us to have that experience does not always ignite. Here and there we are happy with this world, and we go to God and to pray for what? May I be happy in this world. Devotees will come and say, Swamiji, God has been very gracious to me. I've got a job, I've got a house, I am very happy here, as if this is what you are asking for, and God has blessed you, and you think that's His grace. Grace is when He tries to wake us up from this dream of this world. So we are like what Swami Vivekananda says, mustached babies. We've grown up, have a mustache, but in thinking we are still like babies. And this is the power of the Divine Mother. This is her world enchanting Maya, and we are her playmates. So she has deluded us so much with her Maya that when we are children, you play with little toys. Some boys have a car and a little house or something, the girls have some dolls and pots and pans. And later on when you grow up, you have the actual house and actual car and actual computer and technology, and the girls have the actual kitchen and the dolls are the children and husband and all those things. We are just grown up playing with the toys. And so long we are happy with the play. The mother lets us play. And she gives us more toys, and we become happy that mother has given me all these things to play with. But a time comes when the mother says, it's time to go home. Evening has come, she is calling us, and we are too much engrossed in our play. So, out of her love for us, she wants to take us home. She maybe takes a few toys and throws them away. And what do? We cry and say, Mother, give me another toy. You see that Vairagya has not come. We are still infatuated by this play of this world. We want to continue playing. We don't want to go to the Divine Mother, and that's how the play keeps on going. So when God's grace really comes, He will take those toys away and try to wake us up from this sleep of this world. So we see how we understand God's grace depends on what we want. Those people who want material enjoyments and possessions of the world, they will go to the king and ask for a pumpkin. We want to go to God and ask for these material things. And those who are looking for some spiritual things, to them, when they get something material, they do not classify or understand it to be grace. They consider grace to be when there is devotion to God, when there is awakening of the Vairagya and Vivek, and then they understand that God is now compassionate to me, is trying to wake us up from this sleep of this world and take us home. So we see, beautifully it's illustrated in one of the stories where Narada and Sri Krishna were out going for a walk, and Sri Krishna said, I've got two devotees, I want to visit them, you come along with me. So they went to the first village. In there was a Brahmin, a Pandit, very devout, always spending his time in puja and all that. He received Sri Krishna, worshipped him and did the stuti and all those things, and Sri Krishna was very, very happy with him. At the time of going, he said, look, you have got 10 cows, by my blessings, let them become 20. And they went away. They visited the next place. And in that village there was another Brahmin, very poor, extremely devoted to Sri Krishna. All the time he is repeating the Lord's name and contemplating on Him. The Lord was very happy with his devotion. And he had only one cow. So when he was leaving, Sri Krishna said, you have one cow, may that cow die. And they went away. So Narada is watching and he is scratching his head. What type of blessing is the second Brahmin is more devoted to you and he had only one cow, you have killed it. So he asked him, why, how come you consider that to be a blessing? Then Sri Krishna said, look, he is so devoted to me that almost the whole of his mind is given to me. But a little bit of goes to the cow. And that's a distraction. So I have now killed that cow so that his whole mind comes to me. So when we look in life, when some things are given to you, when some things are taken from you, if we are spiritually minded, we will interpret that as in one way, and if we are very worldly minded, then we will interpret it another way. So this discrimination, what is spiritual blessing, what is a material blessing, that also has to come. So, of course, this is all from due to the Lord's divine Maya. In the Vivekachudamani, Maharaj must have explained to you, you've gone through these verses, how Acharya Shankara explains this Maya of the Lord. And this Maya is of divine origin, and that it hides the true nature of the Atma. The Atma's nature, Brahman nature, in so many verses is beautifully explained. It is infinite knowledge, infinite existence, infinite bliss, it's pure, it's ever free, and all those different words are there. What do we understand from that? Why? How do we know? Yes, we can all give a nice lecture, we can write a beautiful essay telling about the spiritual truths, but we have not all experienced it. So there are two types of knowledge. One is conceptual knowledge. Some idea in the head, by listening to the lectures, by reading, we form some ideas. Some nice words are there. If you say infinite happiness or infinite bliss, in your head when you try to think about infinite, you might think of some vast space without any boundary. That is the limitation of the human mind to conceptualize anything. So all the scriptures are giving us a report, so to say. These reports are from scientists, and we call them spiritual scientists. They are not scientists who went out to study the planets, astronomy, astrology, and all those things, the external matter. They were more interested in solving the riddle of life. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where will I go? What's the meaning and purpose of life? These were the questions that bugged them, so to say. So much so that they directed their whole mind and attention to this search. And they came face to face as an experience, some wonderful truth about themselves. What they said was that, look, that which appears to us in front of us as men in the material world is only a very gross, superficial experience of it. When we are awake, functioning through the five sense organs, then whatever is there appears to us as this material world. We live in a world of vibrations and frequencies. You do not know, have you thought like that? There's frequencies there, and our eyes and ears and nose are different instruments that will catch a particular frequency. So the eyes will pick up the visual spectrum when it goes through the eyes and becomes a current in the optic nerve, goes to the back of the brain, and you form some image there, and colors and shapes and all those things. Likewise, sound vibrations hit the eardrum, becomes translated to some vibrations and becomes an electrical current that is interpreted as some sound or music. So this world is full of vibrations. In the Raja Yoga, Swami Vivekananda's translation, it's the only book he has translated. He has given a very beautiful introduction in which he talks about these concepts of Akasha and Prana. The sum total of all the energies in the universe come from what is called the Prana. The sum total of all matter comes from Akasha. And this Akasha and Prana act on each other. And what we see around this world is this combination. But since we are functioning through these five sense organs, we see this world as a human world. That we are all tuned to the same frequency, so to say, we see alike. But there are many other dimensions of reality here and now that we don't have access to. For example, in this room, there are so many TV channels or radio channels that we can't see. You bring a TV, switch it on, take a remote and change to a particular station X, and a particular news and music comes there. You could not see that, but the TV channel demonstrated there's something invisible but is shown to you. You change that frequency to another channel, what happens? The first one disappears, the second one appears. You change to another one, the second one disappears, the third one appears. So here and now, all those things are there. What we select, what we perceive depends on what frequency we are tuned to. You all agree with that? Likewise, There are other dimensions of reality, but we are all tuned to the human frequency and we see this movie going around. But if somebody goes to sleep, then this world disappears. That is where everybody's experience is there. Acharya Shankara in the Vivekachudamani talks about the avastha-traya, 3 stages that we are all going through. Maybe we question or not, but it's our everyday experience. And in the dream world, you are a dreamer. The dream is real to you. Maybe you are in some country, having a nice time, eating some nice food, having some different type of experience. So long you are dreaming, the dream is real to you. Okay, you can't say this is a dream in a dream type of thing. But then again your frequency can change and the dream disappears again. What happens? You go into sushupti, deep sleep. In that deep sleep, you do not have any idea of who you are. Whether I'm young or old, male or female, whatever your profession, nothing. Your self-identity, your CV, your biodata have become zero at that time. All you know is when you get out of it, I slept well. But your eye sense had already also disappeared. We go through all these things every day when you go to sleep. Now which one is real? When you wake up from your dream, whether it was a beautiful dream or nightmare, you compare the two and immediately you discard the dream as to be unreal. Something terrible happened, you were having a nightmare, and then you wake up and say, thank God, I'm lying in my bed, that was a dream. You do not, suppose you are chased by a tiger in your dream. When you wake up, you do not go around looking for the tiger. Because in one stroke, you have negated that it was false, I am not going to give my mind any thought to it. So the saints and sages, they also did this experimentation. Not in some laboratory, not trying to smash some particles and getting our Higgs boson or board particle or something. They, other than focusing the mind outside, learned the technique how to concentrate it inwards, focused it within, and they found that beyond the body, they found there was something finer than that, which was prana. Beyond the prana was mind, beyond the mind was the intelligence, and beyond the intelligence they found something which was pure consciousness. And when they reached that experience, they said, wow, this is something out of this world, literally. Infinite knowledge. Imagine a state where there is not an iota of ignorance. Infinite bliss. Imagine a state there is not an iota of suffering of any kind. Infinite existence where there is no change, so no death. Ever free, full of purity, goodness, strength, and all those things. Well, when an ordinary person goes in there, he doesn't come out of it. But some selected ones who are supposed to be the world teachers, Ishvara Gopis and incarnations of God, they come back and try to report that to us. And when they try to explain, they try to use the human language. So the human language is developed by us to talk about this world. The terminology of that is not there. And the second challenge is that the mind with which we are interacting with this world, when he went to that higher state called samadhi, that mind itself disappeared. Now how do you capture it? So they try in various ways to give us some hints. They use stories and parables and all those things that Sri Ramakrishna's Gospel you will see is trying to give us some hint of a very high state of existence. These become our scriptures, the Upanishads, the Bible, and when we study them, or scriptures like the Vivekachudamani, Prakarana Granthas, like that, when we study that, we will at best with our intellect get an idea of it. You will never be able to understand the reality which is Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna said, that is the only thing that has not been polluted by the human touch, by the tongue, because no one could express it. But they tried. And so, there's a purpose and a utility for studying the scriptures. You will never be able to realize God just by studying the scriptures. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, the almanac predicts the rainfall in different months. But if you take a page and twist it, no matter how much, you will not get any drop of water. Okay, so we get an idea. What's the purpose? You should get inspired that wonderful state the saints and sages had. I would like to have that. Little bit of desire should awaken. Why should I have it? That is my true nature. This human body is going to become old and disappear. This mind is full of ignorance. There is so much suffering here. But this is not my true nature. If somebody is in like a prince and he did not know, somebody comes and tells him, then he is not going to carry on in his life just being the ordinary person. He would like to go and reclaim his kingdom. Likewise, when we wake up, by constantly listening to the scriptures and reflecting on that and trying to awaken that desire to be free, mumukshatu, I want to be free, this is not my high state. That's why the prayer comes, asatoma sadgamaya. This world is unreal, changing. But there is something inside me which is unchanged. Here there is not much peace there. Little bit of happiness, but you can't be happy all the time. Okay, this misery is also part of it. But there is a space within ourselves which is pure peace. Peace that surpasses all understanding, as Christ says in the Bible. That is within us. So when the desire awakens, that is a starting point. So discrimination, Viveka, by reading the scriptures, by seeing the lives of saints and sages, by seeing the lives of ordinary people who have struggled and have been able to realize the truth. Sometimes when we see the life of Sri Ramakrishna and whatever he achieved in Samadhi and all that, we will say that is possible because he is an incarnation of God. But Swamiji, we are ordinary householders, you don't understand our problems and challenges. That is beyond us, asambhavana. It's not possible for us. In the Vedanta Shastras, that it's impossible for us is one of the impediments, obstacles too. Okay? So we have to change that. It is possible for us. And how do we do that? Sometimes reading the lives of ordinary people who have attained the truth is much more inspiring. We require that inspiration. So these beautiful books like They Lived with God, God Lived with Them. Ordinary people, housewives and clerks and sweepers and gardeners who came in touch with Sri Ramakrishna had the tremendous faith in his teachings. He gave them the mantra like Latu Maharaj, you see, unlettered, no Gita and Upanishad and all those things. Sri Ramakrishna tried to teach him a little bit of alphabets. He also failed and said it's impossible to teach you. That little young shepherd boy had the realization by the grace of the Guru and his own sadhana. You look at his life, with what sincerity he did the japa and meditation, all that. Until whatever he uttered towards the end of his life, that was the Veda and Vedanta coming out. You know, there's a story when these young brahmacharis were taking some class in one of the Upanishads, Upanishad, and Swami Tadananda, Latu Maharaj was sitting there. So he was just listening. And they were talking about how that Atman is to be perceived. And he was saying, that's it, that's how it is. Because he himself had experienced it. So first is conceptual knowledge. We read the scriptures, we read the Vedanta according to the purity of our mind. You will understand in one way. You will find that if you are a sincere student, today you take a verse of the Gita, you read it, one meaning comes out of it. But you keep on practicing your japa and meditation. 10 years later, you come to the same verse and you read it, you get more light of it, out of it. Oh, this is meaning this way. Why didn't I understand it? Why is the change? Not that the verse has changed, the purity of the mind has changed. So as we practice sadhana, the mind becomes purer and purer, and it reveals the teaching reveals itself more and more and more. Okay. So sadhana must accompany the study of the scriptures. Otherwise, without increasing in the purity of the mind, no new meaning comes out of it. We have this story that is told about Indra and Virochana. They went to Brahmaji and asked about what is the truth. Then he gave one of the Mahavakyas, Tattvamasi, you are the one that you are seeking for. And both were said, okay, that's very nice. So I am the body and I don't have to do anything. Virochana, being full of tamas and asuric, demonic nature, he was happy. He drink, make merry, this is what I am the one I am seeking for, nothing more to do. Indra being a little bit of sattvic nature, he came and reasoned. He said, how can that be? This is Vivekachudamani. So this body can't be the true nature because it's changing. It's born and grows and becomes old and dies. So he went to Brahmaji and said, I think, in my understanding, initially I thought this body means I'm the reality, it can't be me. So what did Brahmaji say? Brahmaji said, alright, go and practice 1 year of brahmacharya and tapasya. Then you come back to me. So as per his instruction, he went and did austerities, means restraining the... So what is the meaning of it? The energy in the body that naturally gets filtered out at a gross level, that has to be first harnessed, or the channels have to be blocked. And then with japa and meditation, that has to be sublimated, purified, and lifts the mind a little higher. So after 1 year, he went back to his father and said, what's the story? What's the instruction? He gave him the same instruction, no change in the instruction. But with the purified mind, slightly purified mind, he understood it's not the body, it must be the prana. Then he went back, I think I've understood it, some improvement is there. But again he reasoned, it can't be prana, that is also changing. So again he went back to Brahmaji, it can't be this, what's it? So again do 1 more year of tapasya. So every time he went back with a little better understanding, the instruction is not changing. Brahmaji kept on giving the same instruction. But because the aspirant was practicing sadhana and his mind was becoming purer and purer, he understood the same teaching in different ways. Initially it was the body, then his prana, then is the mind, then is the intellect. Ultimately he realized himself what it was. So along with this this discipline of study of scriptures, Shravan, Manan and Nididhyasa, here you will come, Swamiji will teach certain things, explain in the best way the idea that is in his head and understanding. He will try to encode in a language, illustrate with examples and all those things. You will all understand in your own different ways depending on your own minds. But then you should go and do contemplation on that. What was the message that is being conveyed? And Nididhyasa, meditate on that. More light will come. So that has to keep on going. And when that Vivek power becomes very, very strong, very, very sharp, then you will find it's not only when you are sitting down and or doing your studies or scriptural studies that your Vivek buddhi is firing away. It will be there in the midst of your everyday activity and be guiding you in your ordinary decision making also. So when you are purchasing a car or trying to make a selection, buying something, or your mind will tell you that this world is not real. Let's not make a big deal out of it. Let's not make it too important. The most important thing is inside me. Can I give a little bit of time and effort to that? When you have got at least a weekend, you don't say, let me go out and have a nice visit and see the things. You will say, look, the truth that I have understood is within me. Let me find a quiet place and see if I can utilize this for my introspection and reflection and sadhana. That will happen if that Vivek power has become strong enough. Otherwise, the world will drag you in spite of itself. So that means that awakening is not so strong. Yes, you understood it intellectually, but it is not becoming translated into action. So now and then, Sri Ramakrishna would say, you need to go into solitude for this type of purpose. Yes, we give a lot of talks, lectures, but you will see in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, he never said, in Calcutta people are always giving lectures, too much. But he always said a couple of things. One was satsang, holy company, similar thoughts awakens that type of good samskaras that are inside us. But he would give a lot of attention to ekantavas, going into solitude. And he said if you can go out for 1 month, it's fantastic. If you can go for 1 week, that is also good. If not 3 days, even for 1 day. That is how important it is. Okay? And what should you do? You don't carry the world with you. Forget about everything, your phone and family and everything, and go and reflect. Reflect in a very detached way. Look at your life and say, I was born in such a place. As a child I grew up, I went to school, I got a job. I just followed whatever the society dictated to me or set the template to be what is called a successful person, got married, had children, educated them, all this blah blah blah. We have come to this stage. In between, by God's grace, I have been able to get some connection with the Vedanta Center and Swamis, and this interest has happened. It doesn't happen with everyone. There are 3 or 5 million people in Toronto here. The Vedanta Center has been there. How many people come? Many have read the books, but Swamiji's lectures, but that the response is not there. The samskaras did not awaken. So some grace has already been there. We have to capitalize on that and say, this is how I have ended here. Whatever it is, this is my position. And then you do a little bit of business planning, like people do their business, they will say, what do I want to be in 3 years or 5 years down the line? So you will say, where do I want to see myself before I live in this world? And definitely you would say that I would like to have some spiritual progress. So you set some goals, spiritual goals. And then you have to do some planning. What should I do from now on to achieve that goal? And each one will make their own plan. Okay, I will take Panchapan meditation more seriously. Those who are not initiated, they might say, okay, I need some additional help. Let me get initiated in the mantra or find out what it is. Others set up a routine, and so that at the end of every day, I am going to do a little bit of stock taking, internal auditing, your own spiritual life. Remember, no one will audit your own spiritual life. You have to do that. And if you don't do that, then what you find at the end could be not something you'll be happy about. So you do that. What happens, it brings a degree of seriousness in you. And you'll find that certain things which have become more important to you, unnecessary things around, they will tend to drop off. And the most important thing in your life, which is realizing what we are, that will begin to become more and more important. When that happens, your priorities will begin to change. Okay, the company that you are keeping, that will change. You are not too much interested in all these parties and friends and trying to keep everyone happy. You say, this is my life, this is where I have come from. All this time I have been trying to do something for everyone else. What have I done for myself? And you have to make some strong decisions there. Then as the priority begins to change, you will find you will definitely begin to make some progress in that direction. So I'll tell a story. A college professor one day wanted to do a demonstration to his college students. Just like you are all sitting, so then from the bottom of his drawer he brought out a big jar, glass jar, transparent. Then he asked everyone, the students, what is this? And everyone said, that's an empty jar. What's the big deal about? We can see it's an empty jar. Then he brought out some stones, big size stones, and he put them inside there. Then he asked them, what is it? So somebody says it's a jar full of stones. Then he brought another bag with smaller pieces of gravel in it and put it in there and shook it and filled all the gaps in there, asked what is it. So they were, before saying it's empty jar, now it's full of stones, then he's put something, how can something which is full again be something added into it? So they were saying, little carefully, it's a jar full of stones and gravel. Then he brought out some sand and put it in there, and everyone was convinced nothing more can be put in there, so it's full now. Then he brought out a glass of water and poured into this. And then he asked them, so what am I trying to get across to you? And then all the students were students of management and looking at making so much out of life. So they said, sir, I think you are trying to tell us that we can achieve so much more in life. There's no limit to it. Initially, we just put stone, but we could always get something more out of it, so we can plan our time and everything so that even whatever little times are there, everything we can get more and more and more out of it. The professor said, no, that's not what I'm trying to get across to you. But can I ask you, what do you think was the professor trying to do? Anyone?
More and more subtle.
More and more subtle? Yeah, tell, a little bit more, explain.
More subtler it is, the more value it has, so finally...
No, okay, maybe that's... But he was trying to tell something very simple.
Infinite space.
Something very practical I was saying. He was saying that, look, in life we have to put the most important things there first. So the bigger things are the things that are more important. They should have the first priority. That should go in the bottle first. Then other things should come. Suppose he had filled it all with sand first. And then later on he decided that no, I should get some stones in there. But too late. And you'll find the story of many people's life is that they filled it with little gravel and sand, and then at some point they realized that the purpose of life was to realize God, but now I'm not able to get those things inside there. Make sense? So, alright. So what we say is, get that most important thing in first. And what's the most important thing in this world? Is to realize who we are. Somewhere that should factor in your plan, daily plan. If that doesn't factor, everything becomes a big zero. Sri Krishna's mathematics is very simple. He said if you put a zero and you put another zero behind it, the result is zero. There might be big zero, small zero, thin zero, white zero, black zero, but 0, 0, 0 is there. No matter how many zeros you put around it. But if you put a 1 and put a 0, it becomes 10, 100,000. That one is self-knowledge, knowledge of God. We have to reflect, in my life, do I have that one in the right place or not? Or have it there at all or not? If not, then we call Kata very sorry for that. If somebody did not know Vedanta, did not read Gita and Upanishad, did not come to Vedanta Center, and is an old man in old age home, and somebody went to him, did you know the purpose of life was to realize God? You spend your whole lifetime, and it's all there in the Upanishads and Gita and all that. He would say, I'm so sorry, I wish I had known. You know, he will feel so sad. But I'm sure you will not be able to have that same thing. You will say, I had all this opportunity, I had the Gita, Upanishad, and still I have not really put my best. So, what I'm trying to say is, reading, listening to the lectures is all not. There has to be a change that it should happen in your life. And that should become translated in a change in your priorities, in your lifestyle, in your choice of what you're doing, so that the compass, the needle of your compass is always pointed to the north of self-realization. If it moves this way, that way, then we'll get lost in this jungle of this world. It's very, very distracting. So, to constantly keep it aligned in that direction, satsang is very, very important. The essence of the whole of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, is very simple. Wonderful his teachings are. He says, you get the essence of the Bhagavad Gita by repeating the word Gita, 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 Gita. It becomes opposite Tyagi, 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 Tyagi means renunciation. When we hear the word renunciation, a lot of people get a little afraid. My God. And they will tell us, I remember all of our Swamis have had the same experience. When you're young and come out of university, life has got all those things to offer. Suddenly we come in contact with some Swami or read some book, and then the spiritual samskaras awaken and we say, we want to become a Swami. And the response we see, that is coming into that Swami is contact with the Swami, something has gone wrong with his head and things, and look, all these wonderful opportunities that was there, look at this man, he's gone crazy. They knock us off as crazy. We tell around and think that they are crazy, they are continuing in there. Anyway, but renunciation is a positive thing, not a negative thing. It depends on how we understand it. And you are all practicing it all the time. You agree with me or not? So, look at this. You had your first job. It paid you some small amount, something there. Then some offer came with the better salary and things. You immediately gave up the first job and went for the second one. Why? Because the second one was better than the first one. And then another one came and you gave the second one for the third one. If a child was given a little bicycle by his father on his birthday, he loves it so much that he will not share with anyone. If you ask him, can I have a bicycle? He said, no way. But if somebody comes and says, I'll give a motorcycle, he said, you can take the bicycle, but I will have the motorcycle. He's happy to take it. Why did he take it? Because the motorcycle was better and more valuable than the first one. And somebody comes and says, I'll give the car. He said, you can have a motorcycle. So, whenever we have something better, we are happy to give up something which is less valuable in exchange of that. So, when you come to the conviction that there is something even more superior than what this world can offer to you, when you understand that whatever this world will offer to you, you end up in a big zero anyway. Because life will go, name, fame, power, position, anything that's external will go anyway. When it happened to your great-grandfather, it happened to my grandfather. I can see everyone's fate is like that. If I go to this plane of this world, according to what they concept, set out to be success, you get education, you get a degree, you get a job, you get married, you have children, you educate them, you become some well-known person, but eventually everyone goes in the same exit. Beyond. That comes and takes whatever millions of dollars you have, that gets demonetized. You can't live beyond it. So, when you can see this is the fate of everything, and on the other hand, the scriptures come and tell, saints and sages come and tell that, look my friend, what you are is so much superior than whatever this world can offer. And the idea which bites you, gets hold of you, really, then you will find that slowly the mind itself will begin to lose the charm for this world because it has understood the unreality or the insignificance of what this world can offer. We have to cultivate the vairagya. Swami Brahmanandi says that now and then you should think when you go to bed or once in a while sit down, okay, what am I doing? What am I seeking for? Is my devotion to God increased a little bit? My spirit of vairagya has increased? If not, then when you question yourself every day, you find that slowly and slowly some openings will begin to come. And then you have to intensify that spirit. You have to intensify that spirit. Anything that helps you in that direction, seek that. Anything that takes you away from that, avoid that. So this reality that we are seeking for, the Atman or Brahman, that Acharya Shankara and the Vivekachudamani is trying to teach us, is not something that we will get. It's already ours. In ignorance we have forgotten about it. It's a very positive message of Vedanta. We are not ordinary beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay. Normally people think we are human beings. Through sadhana, God's grace, we are trying to have a spiritual experience. That's a common conception because we are so much anchored in our idea that we are human beings. But the truth is that we are here and now spiritual beings. In ignorance, we have become identified with this body-mind complex and have cut off from ourselves from this source of infinite beauty, purity, goodness there. It's just forgotten. That's why it's called avidya. And in the Vivekachudamani, Acharya Shankara tries to explain this Maya. How does it happen? It has two powers, Avaran Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. First it covers the true nature of the Atman, and then on that it projects what we see and experience as this world, that we are human beings with a body, mind, and ego and all those type of things. But behind that is the true nature, and we is trying through Jnana Marga, trying to assert the spiritual nature. So you are not different from the Supreme Brahman. The Atman is equal to Brahman. So, to make that idea very strong, you see, this is all Jnana Marga, Vichara. Okay, I talked about in the beginning about something called conceptual knowledge. There is something called experiential knowledge. In spiritual sadhana, we are trying to have that experience of it. I can talk to you about honey for an hour. I can explain to you the texture and the color and the sweetness. It is like this nectar, it's like sugar cane, it's very refined, this and that. You will have some conceptual idea. But if I give you some honey and you put it on your tongue, that experience that you will have, maybe you will not be able to express it, but definitely you will experience it. That's the difference between experience and having a conceptual idea of it. Books scriptures and everything is about giving you some conceptual knowledge only, Vrittigana. Religion is about realization, about having that experience of it. So every now and then you should ask, I'm reading the book, the Gita Upanishad, all that is nice, I'm giving some, but am I hankering for that experience or not? And what is that experience like and how do I get it? You have to ask yourself that question. That is what I'm asking. I want to taste the honey, I don't want to know all the definitions and descriptions, so to say. So one young man who was reading Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga, beautiful book in which Swami talks about Maya. Maya, God and Maya, and 2 or 3 lectures are there. So I will narrate one incident, it's very interesting, and I would like you to reflect upon this when you go home. Think about it, and visualize in your imagination what it was. This incident is there in Swami Vivekananda's reminiscences of Swami Vivekananda, Manmatha Nath Ganguly, Swamiji's disciple, young man. So one day this young man goes to meet Swamiji. This is towards his last days in Belur. And Swamiji was in a very gracious mood on that day. So he asked him, you can ask me some many questions today if you want. The young man thought this is a wonderful opportunity. So he said, Swamiji, and you can imagine the scene. They are sitting in Belur on a bench. The old mud is there, the mango trees, the Ganga river is flowing and all that. So you can visualize that in your mind. So he's asking, Swamiji, I've read your lectures on Maya. I've tried to understand it. Even those beautiful lectures. It's difficult to understand. I have not been able to understand. Thank you. So, can you explain to me what Maya is? Swamiji said, can you ask a different question? Then he said, no. Swamiji, this is what I'm trying to understand. And if a Brahmagyani like you cannot remove that ignorance in my mind, then I think that in this life, it's not possible for me to understand this Maya. So, what had happened was that he had read Swamiji's lectures where he has beautifully tried to explain what Maya is. That was the conceptual knowledge. This man was not happy with that conceptual knowledge only. So he goes to Swamiji. Now Swamiji is not going to give him a conceptual knowledge only. Being as Rishi, a teacher, a very high caliber, he could give us experience of it. So you will see in that. So Swamiji said, okay, fine. And then Manmatha Ganguly himself is giving his experience. So he said, Swamiji started explaining to me about Maya. I could hear him and I could follow the flow of his logic and everything. But then I noticed that with my eyes open, I could see that everything I'm seeing is vibrating. And he says, just like if there's a big fire. And then the fire, if you look over the fire, the things beyond the fire shaking quickly, you might have that experience also. Something like that. And he said, I was aware of my particular unusual experience, but I was still listening to Swamiji and trying to follow his, whatever he was seeing, meaning of the explanation. And then he said, suddenly I felt a vibration in my own brain, in my mind. And then everything disappeared. The trees, the Ganga, the everything, eyes are open. And I found that I was part of an ocean of consciousness. Everywhere in all directions there's just consciousness and consciousness. In which Swamiji is another wave and I am one wave. And the vast difference between Swami Vivekananda, the great spiritual teacher, and me, that also disappeared. We are made of the same substance, 2 waves in the same ocean. And I said, wow, this is what is Maya. One minute this world was there, trees were there, people were there. In another moment, it has disappeared and I find everything has merged in that ocean of consciousness. And I thought, oh, so this is Maya, Sometimes Maya is explained to be like a mirage in a desert or something. It does not exist. But look at the power of Swami Vivekananda. He could uplift his mind by his mere presence to a state where this physical world disappeared and the spiritual world appeared. He changed the frequency of his being, so to say. Alright? And there was this beautiful experience of all consciousness with a single little bit of an iota, that eye sense experiencing it. Then he said, what happened? Then the reverse process happened and his eye drifted down and he became aware of himself as an individual, and he also became aware of Swami Vivekananda as another individual, they are not made of the same substance anymore. But he said to Swamiji, "Oh Swamiji, so this is Maya. So everything you are doing is also in Maya. This Darindra Narayan Seva, and you are tasking us to do, open the hospital, and all this Ramakrishna mission, that is also in Maya. What is this?" It's sort of in a complaining way he said. Then his mind came down to his former self and he said, "My God, what did I say to him? This is my Guru and I have just, And Swamiji by this time understood that he's back in his normal situation. And he said, "What you are saying is true, but I am playing with Maya. I am playing with Maya. And if you don't like this play," he says, "go to a mountain cave and do tapasya for you to rise beyond it." So we read these beautiful definitions of Maya in various scriptures, but look at this particular beautiful explanation. The reality that the young man experienced, that pure consciousness is here and now. He gave it experience. In one sense, in another sense, it is not here and now in our experience, because our TV channel is tuned to this physical world. And we are living, we are born in this, we live in this, we die in this. But a great spiritual teacher has the capacity to uplift that same mind to another higher plane and give that experience. That reality of that pure consciousness is also here and now. When Sri Ramakrishna would go in Samadhi, he is not flying away somewhere. His body is there, but his mind has changed to another frequency. When he comes and says, that is an ocean of pure consciousness called Brahman, in which all names and forms have disappeared, which is full of purity, goodness, beauty, bliss and all knowledge and all those things. When that same mind comes down a little bit, he says, what does he say? Almost throughout the Gospel, "My Divine Mother alone has become the 24 cosmic principles and all living beings." He is seeing the same power pulsating in every form, and that is his Divine Mother. When it comes down to this physical world, then he sees X, Y, and Z, he talks to them, so who you are and all those type of things. So the reality that we are seeking for is here and now, but our spiritual eyes are not open to it. To open that, sadhana is necessary. Spiritual discipline is necessary. This mind has to be purified. Shuddha man, Shuddha buddhi, Shuddha atma. Here and now it is there. When this idea can hit you really, then you will remind yourself, what I am seeing is not the ultimate truth. I am just seeing the shadow, names and forms. But if Sri Ramakrishna were there, he would see something else. I want to have that experience also. I want to see the divine pulsating in everything. And ultimately I should have this experience where these names and forms disappear, just like Swamiji could give that experience to that young man. I would also like to have that. That experience is our divine birthright. Are we hungry for it? Do we want it? So if you meditate on this, read that particular experience from that particular book, again and again and again, and you'll find that a different type of understanding will take place, because it's from experience. And you say, I want to do that, and I want to have that in this life itself. Then your compass has been aligned properly. And you'll find this more seriousness in your sadhana. Instead of just meditating for 15 minutes or something like that, you'll be spending more time. You will try to seek that spiritual company. And if that company is not there, you don't want to just go and be busy with friends. You try to go into some solitude and reflect and try to dive deeper and deeper and deeper. If that happens, then God's grace is there. But we have to drive in this idea that in our minds, that spiritual essence, spiritual being, we are that here and now. It's just that we don't have an experience. And it is not just by reading the scriptures too many times and torturing the text and doing this intellectual gymnastics. Sadhana, meditation, japa and all those things, seva, karma yoga, Swami Vivekananda, all those things are the ones that will purify the mind. As the mind becomes purer and purer, you will feel more and more of that glow, that inner strength, that awakening of the soul within. And then you know that we are moving in that direction. So at the end of every year, we have to do a stop click and say, from January to December, did I make some progress in the direction? If yes, then you can say, I'm happy with that. If not, another year has gone. Sri Ramakrishna would say, not 1 year, he said, another day has gone. And he would say, I have not made any progress. We are giving ourselves a lot of more time, 1 year, something at least. So in that way, and I'll finish with another incident just to drive that point home, for you to reflect on and meditate. This is from Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda's life. So when he was quite old, he used to have some brahmacharis doing his attendance and sevas. He used to be in a very elevated state of mind. He was a brahmacharya, very high soul. And one day he noticed that when his disciple, when he came to his room, when he entered through the door, Maharaj folded his hands and made pranams to that person. And that young man said, Maharaj, you are the president of the order, you are my guru, you are doing pranams to me, this is not auspicious, why are you doing that? All that he said. The reply that came from Maharaj is very, very interesting. He said, look, when people enter into my room, I see the divine form peculiar to the inner nature of that person. I don't see that person. Okay, whether that person is entering or not, he is not aware of what his divine nature, but the Swami is seeing it. Why? Because his mind is placed at a high level. He says then, when I made pranams to it, then the divine form fades away and the other form, his normal person, appears. I recognize the person and I then have a conversation with him. Just try to visualize it. Right here and now, all of us have the divine essence, something, but we are not aware of it. Whether you are aware of it or not, still it's there. Okay, so if it is there, something far more wonderful than what I am aware of it, should I not aspire to seek for it? And it's not that it will be created or something, or that you will die and you go to the Vaikuntha and there you will see a vision of God. No, it's here and now, in one sense, but it is not our experience. Let that idea catch us, that I want to have that experience of my true divine nature. And this mind itself is the tool. The mind itself is the tool with which we have to achieve it. Manaseva aptavyam. By the mind alone, this truth is to be realized. What is the task in front of us then? Do we create God? Do we create Atman? No. It's all the time there. This mind is like a mirror that has been covered with a lot of dust, dirt, that has to be cleansed. Sadhana, puja. The word puja in Sanskrit comes from this pudha, means that which purifies. So when you do puja in the temple, give fruits and flowers to God, incense, and the Purohit and the Pandit make so many mantras and all those things, you have to understand the result that you were seeking for is the purification of your own mind, Chitta Shuddhi. That is what you are seeking for. And you should try to do that in that spirit. Just because I go to the temple and I give this to the priest and he says, and I had no idea what he did, maybe the priest is benefited, not you. You did the puja but he got benefited. You have to do that in the right spirit yourself, and you should ask, did my mind become pure? In that pure mind, this truth will shine. So we talked about a little bit about Vivekachudamani, the spirit of discrimination. Books and scriptures teach us about that. That should lead to vairagya. Okay? So that we understand the changing nature of the world. At the same time, reinforce in a very positive way the true nature of man. But we need also to know about the sadhana, the spiritual discipline that is necessary to develop that technology, so to say, that purity of mind by which we can have a direct experience, tasting the honey, so to say, experience of our divine nature here and now. Well, we can take it easy in this life, or you can say, I don't want to come again and again and get bashed around and learn the lesson. In this life itself, through my effort, or by the grace of God, I should achieve that. We can try to do that 1/10, and Sri Ramakrishna has said, if you do 1/10, I will take the other 10 steps. With that hope and faith, we should make an effort. And by His grace, in this life itself, we should realize the truth. So the time is up. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Hari Om, Ram Krishna, Paramahansa.
Such a fantastic talk on what we should do and how we should live to become really realize the spirituality. It is already 8:30, just the time is over. But after this wonderful talk, I'm just tempted to spend 15 minutes more and request Swamiji if you'd like to take some questions from the audience, if they have. If you have any questions, please.
Yes.
In one of his letters, Swami Tadananda said that we have to become competent for our spiritual journey. How do we become competent? How do we achieve that competency?
I think this question has been asked by many people on our behalf in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna sets the example and says, this is the goal of life. And then you'll find repeatedly this question comes, so what is the way? People are asking, so what is the way? And Sri Ramakrishna is very, very clear about what are the things we should do to make ourselves competent. The first one he says is satsang, spiritual company. And it could be people, it could be some books, but spiritual thoughts. Somehow we have to keep positive spiritual ideas in our mind. Company with ideas. It can come from people or it can be your own spiritual study and contemplation. Then he says, this sword of discrimination, Viveka, should always be out of there. Discrimination between what this world is and what we are aspiring for. And we can use the scriptures again, or just like I tried to give an explanation and a visualization, that Swami Vivekananda could lift somebody's spine and give a spiritual realization there and then. And here I am caught in this human plane alone. I'm not very happy with this. There is something much more sublime and profound about my true nature. And be always alert about that. Then when you say Asatoma, Sadgamaya, that prayer is not going to come from the throat but from the depth of your heart. And Sri Ramakrishna says, you start working towards Puri. You might not know the whole journey and everything, but start doing the basics. Somebody will guide you. In this case, he himself has come to help us. Okay. We are in ignorance. I don't think anyone has got a very clear path. If you have, then you are already half enlightened. But we start the journey, and like a child, Sri Ramakrishna has explained how to pray, how he prayed to the Divine Mother. Okay? And force our divine demand. And God is our very own, not a stepmother, our real mother. Just like a child throws a tantrum, says, I want this, and I will not settle until I get it. Likewise, we have to force our demand on God. And if he sees the desperation, like a child is crying, then the mother, whatever she is doing, she puts the cooking pot in whatever she is doing, and she comes and takes the child in her own lap. So this Maya of God is very difficult to transcend due to our own effort. It's a divine power. Sri Krishna says, this is Devi power. Made of the three gunas, very difficult to transcend. But whoever takes shelter under me, he says, I myself help to take across. So let's not worry too much about, if we think too much about our shortcomings and our weakness and all those things, then we'll magnify that. Yes, this is it, but we have somebody who is very keen, very eager to help us, and we have to just reach out to them. We'll find that whatever you require, they will begin to come into life. This we can tell from our own experience. All we have to try, seek, and he himself will provide all the things that are necessary for your spiritual growth. That's what we can share.
Namaskar, Swamiji. I had a question. You talked about this story about Swamiji's disciple who went to seek the meaning of Maya. So in that you mentioned that once he had the experience of the consciousness, and he still retained a subtle ego for him to experience that consciousness. So what happened after that when he came back to the realm? Did that subtle ego, he still retain that, or he came back to the same ego which is in the world of Maya?
He comes back to the normal previous one. But maybe he still remembers, has got a glimpse of the truth. And that truth is sufficient for him to try to assert and exert and do the sadhana to make that experience his own. So in spiritual progress, God can of course lift your mind and give you that experience. But whether you can hold on to that experience, they are not, depends on the capacity, your spiritual strength. So we all go to God and say, please reveal yourself on this. He will be happy to give you, but most of the time you will find that we don't have the strength, spiritual strength to withhold that. You see in the case of Mathur Babu, he would see Sri Ramakrishna going to Samadhi every now and then, and one day he took a fancy and took him saying, can I also have a little bit of that experience? Sri Ramakrishna said, if mother wills, okay. So Mathur Babu was a very worldly man, rich estate, money, power and all that he liked. But he wanted it. So suddenly Sri Ramakrishna's, by his grace, the mind went a little up, not too much. But he found that the whole world is becoming like a dream. Not real. Not real, that he could not apply his whole mind into managing it and making money and all those things. But the desire of enjoyment and all those things was so strong that he went to Sri Ramakrishna and said, Baba, you keep this samadhi and all this thing to yourself. This is good for you, but not for me. And he said, okay, and he brought his mind down. So if there's too much of desire to enjoy this world, then when the mind, even if God comes and tries to lift it, your desires will drag it down. You know the story of the mongoose? Sri Ramakrishna used to tell? Familiar with that? So keep this little story. When you're trying to do japa and meditation, you say, nothing is happening, I'm doing so much japa and meditation, there's a problem somewhere. There was an old tree stump with a hole in it. A mongoose made a house and home in that. One day some naughty boys got hold of that mongoose and tied a string to its tail and some stones to it. So in the evening the mongoose came and tried to go inside its hole. It climbed in there. Just as it was getting comfortable, the weight of the stones dragged it out. Again it crawled in there, it tried to drag it out. So as a sadhaka, we try to go deep inside ourselves to have that peace of mind. And you'll find that stones and strings of this world are tied to our tail. And they drag us down and suddenly the mind is back there. First we have to cut those strings, non-attachment, vairagya. Then only this mind can go in there. So God's grace is there. Mother says, my grace is there, but how many are able to receive it? So first the mind that is directed towards the world, to bhoga, to enjoyment, that has to be weaned away from it and directed to the spiritual goal. Then whatever spiritual experience or grace comes, we will be able to hold it and benefit from it.
Now, Maharaj, what is the difference between introspection and real experience? When we introspect, we tend to watch our own minds. But what really happens when that real experience comes?
Introspection, you can say, is trying to rearrange your thoughts and ideas, reflect and trying to say, prioritize things that you're in your, what you want, and remove, sort of cleaning your desk. A lot of valuable things are there, a lot of garbage is also there. You're trying to do some inner sorting, so to say, about what you want in your life, whatever. Realization is a totally different thing. It's an experience of it. Okay. So introspection, I talked about, you can do a reflection on what you are, what you want out of life, how you are going to get it, do some planning and all those things. The realization is more about lifting, purifying this mind to the highest level to have that direct taste of the honey, so to say. But that introspection will help you to channelize your mental powers and time and effort to that goal. If you do not introspect, then we will happily carry on doing whatever we are doing. Okay? So, else, so that's it.
And this is the last question.
This japa or reciting the mantras. I mean, without knowing the meaning of those mantras, if you do that, does it help you at all?
Oh yes. If you are more interested about this particular topic, I gave a talk on this at the Providence Center, and I think it could be available on the website. The subject was mantra sadhana, so in detail it was discussed. But yes, Mother says, look, if you are going on the bank of the river, if you get into the river and have a swim, or somebody pushes you, or you slip and fall into it, you get wet anyway. Or you go to a doctor and he gives you some medicine. It's not necessary that you understand the chemical composition of that medicine and how it works. You follow the instruction and take the 3 capsules over 5 days, and you yourself will find that you are getting recovered. The mantra itself has got an inherent power in it. And if you repeat it with concentration and devotion, that power itself will manifest. Just like a seed. You do not know it's a mango seed, what it's going to look like, but you plant it, you give it water, air and all those things, and the plant itself will grow into a big tree, and give the fruits and flowers. So mantras are very, very powerful tools by which we can, in this age, the name of God is very, very powerful, especially these mantras that we have received through the Ramakrishna mission tradition. They have come from Sri Ramakrishna and Swamiji. If you understand how it works, it gives you more inspiration. Okay, but if you don't work, no, just have simple faith and shraddha and devotion, just like the medicine, it will still work for you.
Thank you for the beautiful questions. It was the last question. So you can have while eating, you can ask the questions. So it was beautiful questions and similarly wonderful answers, so practical for our spiritual life. Let us now go deeper into spiritual life and try to practice what Swami said nicely. And let us progress and be closer to God, be in more bliss and experience more peace as days roll on. And now we conclude today's class with the prayer. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Pada Padme Tayo Shritva